Here's a quick recap of our Alaskan cruise aboard the Norwegian Bliss. Join us on our family vacation. When we flew into Seattle, we opted against taking a car seat, so we decided to take the light rail. It's an easy way to get from the airport to downtown. The light rail took us right to our hotel downtown, where we stayed the night the day before the cruise. Our hotel, the Westin, was so close to the port, we just walked the next day. Check-in was an easy process. We had to explore the ship for quite a few hours until our room was ready about 3:30. Then it was time for sail away. After sail away, we headed to the Manhattan room, which is a main dining room, our first dinner of the cruise. This dining area is so gorgeous. You can tell it was made for Alaska with all the windows facing out to the beautiful Alaskan scenery. The food was absolutely delicious, but my husband and I got a pretty good kick out of the saltine cracker on our cheese plate. It was pretty funny. That night, we sailed through the rough waters of the Pacific, where it turns out the next day to be quite gorgeous. We took the girls swimming. The whole day was at sea, so we spent the day swimming and exploring the ship. Later that night, we saw Six, and these ladies brought it. We met two of the leading ladies of Six on a gondola in Icy Strait. They were so nice. The next day, we port in Sitka, where we opted against getting an excursion. Instead, we explored the sweet little town. We looked at the beautiful scenery it had to offer, and the shops were so cute. While walking around the town, we found this cute little totem area and took some pictures. If you come to Sitka, you have to try the Russian dumplings. They are amazing. After getting back on the ship and taking some naps, Mommy and Daddy got to enjoy a fine dining restaurant. Le Bistro is the French restaurant on the ship, and when I tell you it is the top 3 meals of my life, I mean it. Yep, I even had 3 desserts. Our next port day was in Juneau. We chose the excursion Mendenhall Glacier with the Rainforest Garden Tour. We started off on a bus tour through Juneau, where we saw quite a few bald eagles. When you get to Mendenhall Glacier, there's a few paths you can take. We took the longer one, which took you right up to the falls. It was beautiful. I highly recommend doing this. We had a quick time frame in which we had to be back to the bus. I could have spent all day at these waterfalls. The path back is 1/3 of a mile. We are really glad we brought the stroller for this one. We really took in the Alaska greenery. It was beautiful, and the air smelled almost like nothing. It was so pure. Next, the bus dropped us off at Rainforest Gardens. We started off in the greenhouse, where they also had a snack bar and a place to get drinks. Then a tram came and took us up the mountain. And when I say up, I mean straight up. It was quite the tour. It was well worth the scenic overlook we saw, and my kids really had a blast. It was a pretty short port day. We left at 1:15 from Juneau. The ship then took us up the Endicott Arm to see the Dawes Glacier. On the way up to see Dawes Glacier, when you look out the windows, it just looks so unreal because the mountains are so gorgeous, the water is so blue and untouched. During that time, the captain opened the bow and we were able to go up to the front of the boat. Unfortunately, the waters were too shallow to be able to go see the glacier, but the trip up was pretty special. Shortly after, we decided to go get the binoculars we bought for the girls. We then headed to Deck 8, where there's an area called the waterfront where you can sit outside on couches and overlook the beautiful scenery. This was one of my favorite spots on the ship, and it's connected to several bars outside. The next port was Icy Strait. When I woke up, there was a blanket of fog over the trees. Icy Strait's a pretty tiny port, but we chose the gondola with the mountain tram ride, and that was pretty fun. There are actually 2 gondolas on Icy Strait. The red one goes to the top of the mountain, and that is a paid one, and the green one actually goes on to the other side of the port where there are shops and restaurants. The green one is also free. They are really close to the ship. You can see them just as you're getting off. Because it was so foggy, we were unable to see much of the view. At the top of the mountain, we took a 6-mile tram ride around the Alaska wilderness. Beware, if you do this excursion, you're going to learn a lot about bear poop, and I mean a lot. The tour guide made some stops so that we can take some pictures. After getting down the mountain, we ended up taking the green gondola over to the town side. My kids weren't super excited about it, but if you remember, this is where we met 2 cast members of 6. My daughter was ecstatic. She loves theater. By this point, my kids were starving, so we trekked over into town to see if we could find something to eat. Unfortunately, most of the lines were pretty long, so we just headed back to the ship. We ended up taking the 15-minute walking path back to the ship because the gondola line was pretty long as well. Later that evening, we dined at Savor, one of the smaller venue main dining rooms. All of the main dining rooms are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Each day, the menu remains the same throughout all the dining rooms. They will rotate cuisines on the menu as well every day. After dinner, 2 of our kids wanted to go play in Splash Academy. We then head over to Sugar King's to try out this mojito flight. Our server even brought some cherries over for our little one. She was so excited. Ketchikan was the next stop. The ship ports in Ward Cove and you are bussed into town, which is about a 10-minute drive. We planned on making Ketchikan our souvenir stop, and they have plenty of shops to do so at. We wandered onto Creek Street, which had cute little shops and beautiful scenery. They also had this tram that went up to a restaurant for a scenic overlook. After probably way too much shopping, we headed back to the buses where they took us back to the ship. Be mindful of your time in Ketchikan because the buses may take about 20 to 30 minutes to get back, including your time in line. When we got back on the ship, we decided to go eat at the local. I highly recommend this restaurant. There's always something going on in this area. It makes it quite the fun place to hang out. Our table wasn't quite ready yet, so we headed over to the arcade area where we could use our arcade pass to play some games, and even paid a little extra for the bowling, which was totally worth it. Okay, quick pause. This is one of my mommy tips. I use it for all the restaurants we go to. Travel first aid kit, Post-its, and crayons. You're welcome. Later that evening, we ate at Taste, one of the other main dining rooms. I love the smaller, intimate ones. Here's a quick tour. We had views for every single dining room experience. We opted out of the main dining desserts. So we then took our girls to Coco's to get one of their ginormous milkshakes. And a little something for the parents too. This is me telling my daughter to stop messing around or I'm gonna post her picture all over social media. So please like and subscribe to my channel for her therapy bills in the future. This was our last full day at sea. So we wandered around the ship, checked out our photos, went into the casino a few times. Didn't win anything, but it was fun. There's my hubby at his favorite machine, which usually brings us good luck, but not so much this trip. Here's our two littles playing at Guppies, the kids club for 3 and under. Although they have no supervision, parents can sit with them and watch them play. Our last dinner on board was at Teppanyaki, but before we sat down, I looked over and saw a silent disco going on. We only had about 5 minutes, but it was the most fun 5 minutes I had on board. Next time, I will definitely be looking this up.
Telling you. Baby finger, where are you? Here I am, how do you do? Japanese ice cream from gelato, alright. Available.
The food at Teppanyaki was amazing and quite the show. As you can see, our little kids just absolutely loved them. The chef was really good with interacting with the little kids and even sang little songs.
Decided to leave. This grill is no fire. This grill is no fire.
Our final port was Victoria, which was at 8 p.m. We had to have all our luggage outside by 9 p.m. Early on in the trip, we decided not to even do Victoria, but a last minute change, we decided we wanted to step on foot in Canada as a family. So we grabbed a stroller and I grabbed the kids' coats and we ran off board into Canada. After quickly realizing how freezing cold and windy it was, I left the jackets on the ship. So we rushed to find the quickest point of significance in Victoria, Canada, take some pictures, and quickly ran back on the ship. Before we close out this video, I want to show you what I think is the best part of the ship. The beautiful observation lounge. I'm the early riser in the family, so each morning I would sneak up to the observation lounge and drink some coffee by myself. Here I am, minding my own business, drinking coffee without my kids around me. It was great. Throughout the day, they'll have snacks and drinks. They have water and coffee. For breakfast, they'll have juices, and in the afternoon and evening, they'll have the Nestle Vitality Water. They offer a different variety of snacks all day long. For breakfast, they'll have pastries, fruit, oatmeal, and a variety of other things. From the afternoon into the evening, they stop serving food at 5 p.m. They'll have sandwiches, small bites, and desserts. The observation lounge is the perfect family meetup spot. If you catch it at the right time, you'll even hear someone playing the piano. With views like this, you can see why this is my favorite part of the ship. Equipped with a full-service bar, the only thing that would make this room better is a glass of champagne. Next morning, as we disembarked the ship, I was so sad to leave this gorgeous vessel. After we disembarked, we walked to the Space Needle, an iconic, must-see attraction. It didn't disappoint. At the Space Needle, there's a monorail station, which quickly took us to our light rail station to head back to the airport. Minutes before our flight was set to take off, our flight was canceled. Delta was able to reschedule our flights for the next day. However, they put us in a hotel where balconies look like this, and they had bugs in the bathtub. But at least they had a security robot. What a fun 24 hours that was. I hope this helps in planning your next trip. I truly appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to see more videos. Take care, everybody.